Hi, it's this time of year when my Neofinetias are starting to produce spikes. I have quite a few Neos collected, especially during last year I was buying like crazy. I think I'm stopping now because there's not much room on this little table left. And those that are here for more than a year have a certain pattern. So they grow well during summer, then during winter they slow down, then in spring they start growing roots, lots of roots. And then after the roots there come spikes. And well, some of them are pretty obvious and some are pretty obscure still. And some I'm not even sure if they're spikes or new growth yet. So let's see what we can find. This one here is pretty obvious. It's almost starting to open. This is Asahiden. It's a Shima variety with random stripes on the leaves. And it's always first to bloom. I have it for 2 or 3 years now. And it's pretty consistent in timing. Always first to spike and bloom. And it's only one growth plant, which normally would worry me, but it's a pretty strong one, and it is able to create a spike with 7 buds. See, there are 7 buds on this spike, which means it's a pretty robust plant. Some of them just bloom and bloom until there is no more free nodes for blooming, and only then starting to create new fans. There are such individual plants that do that, so I'm not terribly worried that it still didn't grow any new fans for me, but I would like it to do that. So that's Asahiden, will be first to bloom. And right after, that's my Miyakohabutae, another Shima variety. So maybe Shimas always bloom first, I don't know if that's the rule. If you have Shima, let me know if it always blooms the first for you. But yeah, this one also has random stripes, random patterns, and this one is cool because this one can create mutations. It's not stable, so it can mutate into different other patterns. Hopefully I will get some cool mutations from this, but for now it's just, see, there are only 3 buds because I just bought this plant recently. It's still establishing. It did produce me pretty long roots, which I like. But I don't like that I missed a point when I could squeeze them back to pot. So normally, when like for example here, the root was growing out, but I cut the point where I could put it in the pot, right? But this one, I missed that point, and now it's all out. So it needs to wait for next repotting to get in the pot. I don't like roots out of the pots. I don't like it. But anyways, that's the second spike I have on Miyakohabutae. The next one we're looking at is Gutsuwa Mushi. And Gutsuwa Mushi is cool because it has flowers where the spur creates hook, round hook, and it points up. So it's a fun flower. Just bring it here to see better what we have there. See, there is a little spike start. I don't know if you can see. It just started, but I'm pretty sure it's a spike. So that's a Kutsuwamushi, and there is a spike growing. It's a pretty beginning of the spike, so it'll take a while to develop, but eventually I will get a bloom out of this one. Right beside Kutsuwamushi there is a shojo, and shojo has very pretty blooms with a pink blush, and they're at the bottom on the main growth. Hope you can see it right there. There's a spike starting. So normally, or I mean the last 2 years, this plant would bloom at the end of summer. now it started early. I don't know why, but I'm pretty happy. So we'll get some pink blooms. Now there's bean, and beans are usually hard to bloom. This is sensei, so I don't have any spikes on this one. And this one here is Kibana Neofinetia yellow, which this is a cross, Coca cross self that I bought from Tsinghua. I'm growing this one from flask. So I'm proud mama because it already has 3 growths, but there is no spike yet. It's still too small, I think. Or maybe it's becoming blooming size now, but there's no spike. And another bean, no spike. And now this one here is my favorite. This is the one with red margins, and pretty sure I saw their spike, except I need to find it. Easier to see when I hold it like that. See, there's a spike. You can define spike when you see that it looks kind of like a tulip flower at the top. Then it's a spike. If it's not so much as a tulip, then it's probably new growth. So there I see the tulip bloom, so it's a spike. So that's my Beniōgi. It's my favorite fukurin. See the red margins. Now the red is starting to come off because you need cold, bright light and cold temperatures for this. Now it's pretty warm, so the red will be coming off until next spring. In well, not spring, but probably February, it starts to get really red until about April. And then in April, when it becomes warmer, the red starts to kind of get off, and it will be like just yellow. It's a very neat variety. If you can find it, get it. It's fun to grow, Beniōgi. And it blooms reliably every year. Now, this one here is my Manjushage. This is the one with flowers that have 3 spurs. It is a large plant, large leaf spans. But I have only 1 growth span. It's pretty expensive variety. I could only afford the one fan. And I do not get credit for those spikes because the plant came with them. But see, there are 3 things growing, and 2 on the right, I think they're spikes because I see the tulip shape on them. But 1 on the left might be a new growth. Can you see it? Not sure if I'm showing it, but yeah. Now, I'm not, I would be more happy if plant grew me another growth, because one fan trying to support 3 spikes would be, I think it would put too much pressure on the plant. So I would rather it to grow instead of bloom now. But yeah, I don't have a say, right? Plant does what it does. So hopefully I will see the bloom, and the left growth is hopefully the new fan. But we'll see about it. So that's Manjushake. This is probably the most exciting spikes that I have in my collection right now. So this is my Keiga, and usually it blooms faithfully, and sometimes it even blooms twice a year. But this year it will be keeping blooming, I think, because I just butchered her. It was a large plant with 9 or 10 growths, probably 9. But it's a shima that is unstable. It's a very dynamic, and especially when you have a genpei main growth. Genpei is when 1/2 of the leaf is green, the other half is white. So you will notice that all variegated babies would be appearing on the white side or yellow side, and the green side will produce only solid green babies. That's what was happening. Like that side, I had 5 green babies. So I basically it was large plant, and I broke it into 3 halves, not halves, 3/3, 3 parts. And I gave one to Rasktal, and I left one myself. This is solid green Kega. There is a very small chance that it will ever variegate. It might just stay green. Probably it will, because it came from the green part of the main Kega. But it's still very nice plant. Like when it's large, look how nice. The spine is very cool. It has a red pigment, and it's very nicely aligned. So I like the shape of this one. So this one's not blooming this year, or it might bloom later when it kind of get over the dividing. So we'll see if it will bloom this year or not. That's my Keiga. That's my, I consider this one my crown jewel in the collection. Now here on this side beside Hibiki, you see I kicked out Hibiki. It's not in a tank anymore. It became so huge. It takes too much space. So it had to go out of tank. So now it's here with Neofinetias. And beside it, I have Kishutemari. And Kishutemari is very cool. Where's the spike? There should be spike somewhere. Yeah, why is it cool? Because when the bud is forming, the buds, see the spike at the bottom leaf, like just above the bottom leaf on the main growth, there is a spike, there is a tulip shape. So when the buds are forming, they have a pink tip on the petals, and they inflate like little balloons. So the buds should look really neat, like little balloons with a pink tip. And then when flowers open, they also have pink tips. They're white blooms with pink tips. It looks really neat. I've seen pictures on the internet, and I really liked it. So I was happy to find it, and hopefully this year we'll see those little balloons and then the flowers. So that's Kishutemari. Also spike, and I forgot to count them, so I don't remember how many now. Now here is another one that is a regular bloomer and a pretty good grower too. Look how clumpy it is. This is my Sekirei. Sekirei is a mutation of Kyokushou, and its trait is those little white streaks on the leaves. See the white streaks? And I noticed they appear on the new growth when it just starts on the babies, but when they grow, they disappear. So the main growth doesn't have those streaks. But it's still pretty neat variety. Look how straight the leaves are, and there's lots of them, and that's a confused growth. I don't know, it goes down instead of up. Hopefully it'll straighten. Whatever, it's fun. So it's a very good growing variety, clumpy. So I'm hoping to grow it in a large specimen plant. And there is a spike on the right. You see on the left there are 2 old ones from last year and the previous, but on the right there is a new spike coming out. And I think last year it had 8 blooms on the spike, which is a good count of the flowers for the Neofinetia. So that's a Sekirei, also one of my favorites. Now this one here is one of my newest purchases. It's called Raikoumaru. It's a small division. There's only 4 or 5 leaves. And I didn't really expect anything from it. It's supposed to have insanely pink, dark pink flowers, and I think some people think it's a hybrid, which is possible. I don't know. But see, there is a spike at the bottom, and it's also insanely pink or red. I see tulip shaped, so it's a spike on a very small division, and the roots, look, they're red too. So it's also very neat, I think. So even though it's a hybrid, I still like it. Raikoumaru. I'm very excited to see the blooms. So that's another spike in my collection that I'm excited about. I just want to see how dark the dark blooms are on this one. And when you see it in person, it's better than on the pictures. Did I miss anyone? Okay, this is my Tamakongo, which is a bean, and beans are usually hard to bloom. So there's something growing on the right here, you see, above those 3 leaves from the bottom. And on the left at the very bottom, there's something little. I'm not sure yet whether it's spikes or new growth. I want it to be spikes, but I'm not sure. So that's one that is still obscure to me. Hopefully, at least one of them is a spike. But the new growth would be nice too. But I know that beans are not that easy to bloom, so I'm not counting on spike, but just hope. So I think that's everyone here. And I have one more Neo in the tank. Let's see. So this is the Neo that I have, a mature Neo that I have in the tank beside my little seedlings. And this is Kyokushu, and white in the tank because I'm experimenting with lighting. The trait of this one is those tiger stripes. See? A beautiful tiger stripes on each leaf. And those stripes appear when the new leaves are growing, and they stay. But if the light is insufficient or wrong, those stripes don't appear. Now, if there's too much light, there's too much purple on leaves, which is ugly too. It's supposed to be not too much purple. There's supposed to be no purple pigment on leaves, only on the spine, but not on the leaves. So when I received it, I put it on the windowsill, on the sunny windowsill, and it got so purple. So I freaked out and I took it off and put it into more shade. But then the leaf that grew, new leaf, this one here, it had no stripes, so it was insufficient light. So, and because windows are very uncontrollable, I decided to try to put it here under my T5HO light pretty close and see there's this new leaf appeared. So I will see if on this new leaf the stripe will come out or not on this light. If not, then I need even more light. So that being said, I think there is a spike growing on that plant, and do you see it? It's on the right of the old spike. It's a very small yet, probably you don't see it, but yeah, there's a spike growing anyways, and they're so small it's hard to show, but later on it will be more visible. So yeah, that was my Neofinetias update. This is my favorite update of the year, when the spikes starting to come out and I go searching for the spikes. And I'm pretty sure those are not all that I will have, because I did see something starting on King in Russia there, but it's too small yet, hard to see, hard to show, and hard to tell what it is. But it might be a spike. And yeah, I have some there on the shelf. That's the ones that don't like too much light, so they're there. And if you grow Neofinetias, go check on the spikes. I'm sure you will find some. Let me know what did you find. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.